Hey everyone, Teehashee here. We're going to go ahead and take on this first strike mission, one of our first missions proper for the uh, Arano restoration. And today we will also be talking about the Vindicator medium mech. So here they're talking about us going and liberating this prison complex, which, narratively speaking, is pretty well done, in my opinion. Here we're talking about sort of the political ramifications for making this move. Um, and, of course, Arano being not exactly a Mary Sue, but definitely a idealist and heavily into like the good moral leader category. She says, of course, it's not just for political gain, but we're trying to rescue our people. Um, so we'll ask for intel. So Lord Madeira talks about how Weldry kind of sucks. Uh, Somehow you have um, a very cold planet with blood-sucking insects, which I don't know how that works, but I'm not from space. Yang, being a skeptic, is skeptical. I think Yang is also a former infantryman, so we'll ask about why we want to save these people. Lord Madeira makes a good point. There are different kinds of power. There is soft and hard power. Rescuing people being a symbol, that is soft power, where mech shooting someone in the face, that would be more like hard power. Okay, what's my job? She's pushing for flexibility in military combat. Uh, Good policy. Uh, Inflexibility or rigid military doctrine, especially, um, what do you want to say? Like, regulation at the expense of flexibility is a bad thing. Okay, so for this mission, we have some options. Probably going to bench the Centurion, bring the Kintaro, and I think we will take the Shadowhawk in the scout role. The only thing is the Kintaro does not have jump jets, but it shouldn't matter. The Shadowhawk now has all of its jump jets and is still ridiculously heat efficient, so going to be a great scout mech. Probably our new scout mech. I think we are ready. loading screen hopes and dreams, guys. Uh, Cuomo, the governor of New York, just resigned after being outed as kind of an all-around terrible guy. But his largest list of grievances comes with sexual harassment, very common theme in our present day and age. Sexual harassment suits coming out left and right, and uh, it's fair enough, isn't it? Don't touch people who don't want to be touched. Um, in terms of our hopes and dreams, let's hope and dream that that shit happens less, but it's not going to happen less passively. We gotta make it happen. Gotta make sure people like that don't get in power, and when they are in power, they get out of power and should go to jail too. That guy will probably resign and not face any other consequences, but if you're hurting people, there should be consequences. Okay. Um, so we're here to make our play. We've got a great lance, 245s, 255s, and our boy Teehashee is taking point. I think this is the first time I've not had to take the Centurion on this one. Already a cause for celebration. But rather than dunking on the Centurion, let's talk about our mech of the day, the Vindicator. Um, I was a very late convert to the Church of Vindicator. I thought the Vindicator was not a bad mech, but just like a big panther. Which again, big panther, it can't be that bad, can it? Um, and I would say no. I think the panther is a solid mech. Its build doesn't make any sense to me in the sense that you get this PPC. You've got the PPC, and it's paired with an SRM4. But SRMs in the center or in the torsos of light mechs, kind of a common theme for a bit. And so anyway, I always take off the SRM4 and put on an LRM5, and then what do you have after that? Why, you have um, a Vindicator, right? Because all the Vindicator really brings beyond that is a medium laser and a small laser. And uh, because its range profile is basically for sniping and or indirect fire, or some combination of the two, pretty common that you drop the small laser altogether and um, go ahead and put in something else. So I saw one spot in the trees that I'd like to jump to. I guess it's a little further over here. So this is a great build for a scout mech, something that gives you melee, like long range, especially in this game, I should say, not really talking about MechWarrior 5, but in this game, the thing you want to be able to do is wipe evasion stacks off of people. And a great way to do that is have a gun like an autocannon 2 or an LRM-5. Alright, shouldn't need all the heat in the world to make this. I'm going to fire 2 medium lasers in the SRM-6, and that should be a guaranteed kill. And then, are we in a position to walk? And just like walk up on this thing? Looks like we can, but we need to jump instead. Just trying to make that range work. Anyway, the 9R is perfectly usable in this one, in RogueTech, and pretty bad in MechWarrior 5 just because it's a much less flexible frame. The hard points on the 9R, as you can see, like we got this great medium laser build, and just because of that, it's great. Where there are a couple different builds in MechWarrior 5 where you can instead use you can mount a couple machine guns on the arms, or you get the Avenging Angel, which is in both of them, which actually mounts a larger engine at the expense of armor. And both of those, especially in MechWarrior 5, are quite a bit better than this R model. Um, but the sort of wow factor that comes with the Vindicator that really had me come around to it is, of course, it mounts a PPC on the arm. That's something that I'm not really about. I don't like heavy weapons on the arm, though it's very common, and actually serves a purpose in MechWarrior 5. Doesn't serve really any purpose here. They might be slightly more accurate. That was good shooting, much to my chagrin. Okay, we're gonna hippity hoppity down here. Hard to believe that that wasn't a kill shot, but it's not going to matter because we've got Glitch in a missile boat, and she's going to fix that mistake for us. I mean, the Vindicator hasn't been shot yet, and we need that line of sight, so... It's also a broadside. It really looks like we could just alpha strike it and get the kill. Not quite. There are bulldogs though, and they're this one is a bulldog, a tougher vehicle. He turned a little bit, and he didn't really turn at all to protect his weak side. Okay, so we'll put I feel like the Scorpion is going to be the tougher to kill. So we're going to put 15 rockets into him. I got one down. Okay. Smoked them. Alright, we're gonna be descending towards the enemy and trying to get line of sight on these generators. Here's a direct line of sight on the tank. Probably won't serve any major purpose other than giving our LRMs a shot. But yeah, you can definitely, even from the very beginning of the game, you can take the Vindicator, take all of its ancillary weapons off of it, and even in that fight against Grim Sybil and her quick draw, you can put just the LRM5 and the PPC and just jump jet way up into the backfield of the map, way up onto the buildings in the back of the map, and still get so much done, rain so much hate with that. So we've got some flying powers, and I think until we've got a heat problem, we're just going to keep using them. And it looks like we want to keep turning our mech, just because that one side is getting worn down and we're still not very far into this mission. It is a thing that happens though. You take on this mission and it's very easy for the prison defenses just to eat away at you, and it does get hard later. Let's see. It's going to be the most rewarding to take out this stuff. Vindicator's probably pushing a lot of heat. Yeah. We only need 50 damage though. So we'll turn off 3 lasers and fire this, I think. Probably should have used glitch last to soften up a target or wipe out a target that didn't die enough, but we'll turn her loose on one of these turret generators. Not bad. I mean, our guys all have multi-target for the most part, and it just lends an amazing amount of flexibility to your lance. Arguably the best ability in the game, just because of what it can do. Okay, we just need a B target. Can we not target more of these things? There we go. Of course he missed it. Yeah, I considered it. I was like, maybe we should put both rounds into it, but whatever. Me looking silly is the entire point of you guys being here to watch me. Since you're locking out of order, nice plays. Missing all your shots. also great. I'd love to see it. Alright, we've got the melee attack, and we're gonna do it. Boom. Who's got the least heat? The Kintaro isn't producing any heat. It's actually doing great at this. So we're gonna save her the trouble. Well, we're gonna save the rest of the Lance the trouble of doing direct fire on that thing. So we just put one LRM-5 on it, and all it's got to do is touch it with one rocket. Pretty much making very solid progress on turrets. All we need is just do a little hippity hop. It should work. Got it. All right. Alright, we make a little bit of morale passively, so there really isn't any reason not to take this shot. Didn't get the kill, which is unfortunate, but I think we can just go step on it. Yeah. Blammo. Okay, we're going to turn our lasers off. Because we're mostly doing this to rest our heat. It is nice having a lance that's mobile like this, I admit. Yeah, turning all that stuff off, I promise. And then the Kintaro's got some lasers on its hands. Save our ammo in case we need it. there. Hops won't get us there, so we're gonna sprint. And Glitch still in the Kintaro has a lot more armor. And then, wow, 920 on that Vindicator. Boy, that's insane. Yeah. I remember, though, that you can get medium mechs to push just so much armor in this game. Someone out there probably complains about that. Probably feels it's doesn't make any sense for your mechs to be that tanky. I might even be able to, I could probably see that argument. But I like it, because I like my stuff to not die. Okay. So this is a fairly competent lance we have to fight here at the end with featuring, I think, a catapult. That's a Jenner. It's running in and running out again. I mean, that's proper scout play. It's cowardly, but that's what you want scouts to do, is to run in and be like, oh, this is what we're fighting, and then back off. I can't quite remember. So it's a Jenner. I'm pretty sure they've got a Centurion, and they've got this this catapult. So I might jump the Shadowhawk in there. Just to preserve the sensor lock. And we've got LRMs, and I know that Jenner is badly hurt, so we're going to sensor lock it and try and plink away at it until it's dead. Yeah, it looks like the LRM on the arm is getting a little bit better accuracy. But it's good that there's something, because otherwise you just wouldn't put guns on your arms. It wouldn't be smart. Probably don't want to jump on buildings, mostly because it really cuts your maneuverability. You have to jump on and then jump off. Give us a chance to cool down. And then Behemoth, I think we'll probably be sprinting in here, because shit's gonna get crazy. And we're gonna want to bring her guns to bear. For the Oregon people! Kool-Aid through this wall. So there's her Kintaro. Great to see. Dunking on this Centurion Alpha. Ooh, hit him in the head. Well, we might kill that pilot. Oh, it's a Jaeger mech. It's not a catapult. The Jaeger mech in this game is much better. Both variants of the Jaeger mech are much better than they are in MechWarrior 5. It really like keeps to canon in MechWarrior 5, which again is not a bad thing, but you feel it when you got this Jaeger mech and it's absolutely made out of tinfoil, and like you can do big damage with it, but it doesn't matter. Like you would never bring it on a mission yourself, and then you come up against one and you just have your entire lance shoot at it because it can't take hits like that. Centurion's making his play. His autocannon 10 is still in the game, so we're gonna pay special attention to that. Can she also make this jump? It looks like she can. We'll jump into this ice water. And continue the process of disassembling this Jenner. This is a responsibility of ours to make sure Kamea doesn't get cored out, because that's a thing that can happen. I don't know if I've ever had it happen on this mission, but I can see it happen. I'm enough of a worrywart that I go, yeah, don't want Our Lady to die. Okay, I'm just gonna let her cut loose with missiles. Kind of hops have we got? Our positioning isn't great for that. What we want to do is work on that disassembling that autocannon, because I know Kamea got a good shot on it. I just don't know if there's much we can do about it. And it's still got quite a bit of structure left. Pew 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 pew. Yeah, well, that's fine, because you haven't been shot yet. Okay. She can't go in between these buildings, apparently. So we're gonna leave the Vindicator to finish this fight, and then we'll hop it back into the battle. I don't know if shouting at the exploding mech actually makes it fight harder, though. What a strange play. Why didn't you shoot everything? You don't have heat problems. Alright. Speaking of heat problems, jump please. Position Decker to put everything into this side of the mech. I think we'll go for the torso. This torso is a major weak spot of the Centurion. When we do the Centurion, we'll talk more about it, but it's basically the worst thing ever. So there's loss of that arm. It's good to see. Don't know what that mech is over there. It's got an LRM-10 on it, apparently. I think I will also do a little hippity hoppity over here. And give you something to think about. Maybe a couple things. It might die outright just from the shoulder and the leg getting knocked out. You'll have to tell me in the comments how you guys feel about mechs falling over. We'll show them this other side. Because obviously in the first person games, falling over is not a thing you can do, but in the other games, it's definitely a thing that you have to consider happening. And falling over has serious consequences. In the tabletop game, falling over, like you can like fall down terrain, like you can fall down a hill. It can be hard to stand back up, requiring special skill checks, and that's I'd be curious to know what you guys think, how much of the game needs to be taken up by that, because in this, like, it's a major strategy for salvaging mechs, killing the pilot, or just knocking the mech down over and over anyway. It's definitely viable. Um, but like, is that still like a thing? Like, do you want to have to like try and stand back up? Do you want to like fall down an entire mountain and take a huge amount of damage just for falling down once? I don't really think so. I think that sucks. Because there's enough in BattleTech like to cascade out of control. Like maybe you get ammo racked and you just turn into a giant Roman candle, and that's it for that mech or half of that mech. And in that case, you just go, you know, it's a legitimate question as to whether or not that's very much fun. Kamea will probably kill the Centurion, so we're going to focus on this Jaeger mech. I'm just going to... We're going to let the bullets fly, and we're going to see what we can trigger. It's really easy to core out a Jaeger mech, though, so I don't have high hopes for salvage. Took a shot at the Kentaro. That's fair enough. I think the Kentaro can answer in kind. She doesn't even need to be that close, it would seem. We're going to hold off on the lasers and see if we can get this final knockdown since we've done well enough. What are you doing, Jaeger mech? What's your big plan? Shooting at the blackjack, which is smart. Yeah, I honestly think he's just trying to make the best of a bad situation. Just gonna hop over to the other side of him, keep him off balance. Yeah, we're not very happy about that damage, so we'll be falling back. double down on this salvage, which is probably the wrong call. Yeah, it didn't even matter. Let's see what Kamea does to this Jaeger mech. Annihilate one side of it, which is fine. I think we'll just wait for him to get his happy butt back up so we can knock it back down again. Boy, he is in bad shape from that hit. Oops, ammo explosion. Not that big a surprise, let's be honest. That's how Jaeger mechs are. Just imagine that big claw reaching in there and sparking something. Okay, we'll leave the blackjack out of the rest of this fight because there is much more to lose compared to what there is to gain. I mean, with Kamea, we still have a full lance, so... probably jumping builds more evasion. There we go. She get eyes on our target. No. I can, though. Warriors. We got a trebuchet. Those were LRM-15 shooting at us. We're almost max. We'll just hang tight. Again, oh, we got a head hit in, but like, I just feel like that thing's gonna get absolutely bodied by either Kamea or one of us. So I don't have very high hopes for salvage. Probably as much as we can. We're going to keep him in reserve. A shot from the trebuchet would be a big problem. She has breaching shot. Interesting. Is our armor really that low, though? There we go. I mean, that's to fire the small laser, and we don't really need to, but... she's not wrong. So an arm on a trebuchet is serious business. I'm worried that if I precision strike the leg, Kameha's just going to come core him out, so... we're going to wait. Hopefully that's a torso, yep. Okay. Alright, Kameha. Be gentle. She's not going to be gentle. Oh my god. So we're coming up on an interesting narrative choice here for the story. Okay. Got a chunk of Jägermech, chunk of Jenner, chunk of Trebuchet. We might as well take the chunk of Centurion unless we really want some of this other stuff. Okay. So here you have Raju Montgomery. In the tutorial, he's your mentor. Here's a flashback to him getting cored out in his Centurion. I think he takes a PPC right to the chest. And so there he is in an Arano body bag, but it's weird narratively speaking. It's much better if you skip the tutorial for the narrative because it's like the writers wanted to play his death twice, right? Or pay off the get the emotional payoff from his death twice. And it is weird that they did that. Like you go, you do this great series of missions with him. It teaches you how to play the game, and by the end of it, we lose. We lose him, and then without any like parting words, without any sort of addition to the narrative, his character Raiju shows up again, only to die again, and I consider that a strange narrative choice. I don't like this play, this dialogue choice. Like, I knew him more, therefore I can avenge him more, or something like that. I don't like that argument. This is an interesting thing to point out. So Kamea suffers, she bleeds for people, suffers along with them. We get some more narrative. Um, it's good. Well, it's not the best, but it's good enough storytelling, and it's fun to go along with this journey, go along with her on this journey because again, you are fighting bad people and they deserve to be stomped. I don't really like either of these options. Probably why I'm stalling to decide. Because like, oh, galvanize your supporters. It's like you've never heard that phrase before. And then this point, I mean, people respect strength. There's a reason why people attempt coups and why coups, occasionally succeed is because you can actually gain support that way. It's a double win. You gain support and you manage to oust your political competition. So both are kind of naive statements, in my opinion. And then Lord Madera also makes good points about um, Lord Espinosa backing up his cronies would also aid in his popularity. This is an interesting point I didn't remember about choosing a Regan soldier, is that you could have potentially participated. I mean, your character or my character would have probably deserted. Um, this is always good advice, especially if you're having a depressing day or feeling depressed in general, is solve the things you can solve. Because there's a mountain of shit that you can't solve. It's the same for everyone. Okay. Look at this absolute heap. This is a cool secret, by the way, in terms of storytelling, because it wasn't really a secret in terms of, like, the bandits found it and cannibalized it, but the bandits didn't know what they had, and even if they did, how could they, like, you need a solar system, you need the Aurigan Coalition or the Magistracy of Canopus to refurbish this thing. Bandits can't really do it. Even your like mythic whatever MechWarrior 5 mercenary company wouldn't be able to refurbish this thing. It takes tons and tons, much big Dara. It takes lots of money, and lots of time and lots of resources to get this thing working again. And I mean, arguably, you start from kind of the same place. You start with one leopard and um, one sort of lance, and over time this company succeeds in refurbishing it, but they don't do it on their own. The other thing they have is Dr. Murad, right? Um, and uh, your chief engineer on the Leopard, I can't remember his name. He's a Cockney guy, so I apologize for that. But he seems to do everything on that ship, and he would be spread so thin. Like even Yang admits wholeheartedly that he doesn't have what it takes to rebuild this thing. This is pretty much the only option that I like. We're going to listen to Kamea talk. All pretty solid points and good points to come from your leader. They admit their failings. She says she didn't know, and of course she didn't know. Um, it's always a weird place for a leader to admit ignorance, right? Because on one hand, it can seem like an excuse. I didn't know, right? What could I have done? I didn't know. But then on the other hand, to admit something like I was not in a position to act because I didn't have the strength that I needed to act is basically the point of this entire speech. Um, and now we are in a position to act. So yeah, it's all it's all corny. It's overcooked to an extent. Um, and it's tough to believe that a leader like Kamea Rano could exist in real life. But she's what we've got, and we could have definitely done worse. It is funny that he says between you and me in a conference room of all the high-ranking officers of this crew. But she takes it. She takes it in her stride. I like Dr. Murad's character as well. Um, she's great. Like not a MechWarrior supporting character, pretty much in the background of the story, and still a good character. Yeah, make this conversation about me. I lost a friend today. I like that. This it's not the most realistic response, but it is a solid response. This I think is the most realistic response, where it's like I'm in control, but you're not. Like you just got gifted this ship; it can be taken away just as easily. It's not a warship, right? Warship in the in lore sense or out of it, right? So they could send leopards to blow it up very easily. It's also an absolute heap, and so like we need their help, so we're gonna be happy about it. And here he admits that he's not up to the task of running the ship. She is. It's not explicitly said, but Dr. Murad appears to be a Star League era scholar, maybe Comstar acolyte, something like that. You can come across Com guards or Comstar acolytes trait in the MechWarriors that you hire, so it's not unheard of. I like Lord Madeira. I like a lot of these characters. Probably going to get repetitive because, um, maybe the good guys in this scenario are a little unrealistically good. You don't really have anyone who's particularly slimy or backstabby, except for you, the commander, if you want to take that route. Um, okay. This is good because these guys are immediately ready to get to work together. So there she is, a little laggy, but she's there and absolutely full of holes. These docking hardpoints are super cool. Very rare that you see something like that. Obviously, like it's meant so that this ship could dock to bigger ships, but it is also cool that something smaller like the Leopard dropship will be working in tandem. I'm a fan of the Argo. Fan of the Argo and a fan of this game. So let's do our housekeeping. We're pretty much ready to wrap this episode up. Look, he's got plumber pants. It's the best thing ever. I repainted the other mechs. I left that one just because the plumber pants are great. Okay, so we still only have um, this bay. We have engineering now, which is going to be huge. Our basic stuff, like our structure and power system, that's pretty much what we're going to be putting resources into at the beginning. Here's the repair scaffolding. Again, getting your mechs and your people, because you can get the med bay training modules. It's okay. I ran training modules a lot when I was learning the game because it helped me get more pilots into the game. And it's not terribly easy, but it's a little bit easier to lose pilots or have them injured in this versus MechWarrior 5. Like in MechWarrior 5, I feel like I sit on 5 or 6 pilots the entire game and just rotate them out until they're skilled up. In this one, any pilot can skill up. Um, it all comes down to like the traits you want them to have and stuff. So the training modules especially if you want like one pilot from everywhere with every trait, and you have like this great cosmopolitan metropole. You could do that in this game though, because you've got a colony ship. Why not? Why not start your own colony? Um, Again, just one of the reasons why this game is great. There are usually contracts on this planet. Yeah, look at all of them. So there we go. I'll check my boys and girls. Um, so there's a lot of training to dole out, actually. Ayo, gunnery skills. Sorry, I make memes about the commander not being able to shoot. That's pretty much my commander because I always do this piloting plus tactics route, and that leaves gunnery hanging, and so my commander can never shoot. Okay, I think that's pretty much everything we need to do until the next episode, where we'll be doing some of these contracts and trying not to break our mechs, and hopefully getting our spaceship refitted. Thanks for coming along for the ride so far, guys.